Have you ever poured your heart and soul into crafting an incredible dish, only for it to fall flat once it hits the table? That's because we as food lovers know taste is just one piece of the puzzle. The way a dish looks can make or break an entire dining experience. Today, I'm going to introduce to you the second video in my series about idea generation in plate design, and hopefully it could be a game changer for you. This is a proven framework usually used by tech companies and designers, but I'm bringing it into the kitchen. It's all about fast-paced, focused innovation tailored to your specific plating challenges. Think about it. How often do you truly get constructive feedback on a new dish's presentation before it's on the menu? A design sprint changes that. It helps you brainstorm crazy, out-of-the-box ideas, build rough prototypes of plates, and get immediate insights on what works visually and what needs refinement. And that's the beauty of these sprints. They make you think about the big picture of how your food will make somebody actually feel. This is where plating becomes a key skill to showcasing your visual and storytelling skills. So, are you ready to find out why a design sprint could be for you? Let's find out. Okay, chefs, cooks, platists, let's be honest. Sometimes we can get a bit stuck in a rut. The same garnishes, the same plating techniques over and over and over again. Well, a design sprint is here to help you blow those cobwebs away. It's like hitting the fast forward button on your creativity. We give ourselves permission to experiment with flavors you've always wanted to try, bold plating styles, maybe even the wild ingredient gathering dust at the back of the pantry. And it's all done within a focused time frame, so there's no endless tweaking. It's a rapid-fire ideation to keep inspiration flowing. This is the part I think that most chefs will love. Design sprints let us test those crazy ideas with less risk. Think of plating prototypes, using standard ingredients to play with the visuals, and then we ask for honest feedback. They are our taste testers and art critics all in one. Better to find out that a sauce clashes with the colour scheme, or a portion is way too big before you've wasted time and expense, right? It's short-term trial and error for long-term success. Design sprints can be done independently, but it's in the team environment where they really come alive. I'm talking about involving members of your brigade at any level, or maybe even someone from the front of house. Wait staff hear what customers ooh and ah over, and what they barely touch. Also, by bringing in others, you empower them with a sense of agency and engagement that can only benefit the team. Clearly, chefs know the technique limits and what ingredients sing together, but just imagine the cross-talk sparking ideas that you'd never have had alone. Finally, a design sprint makes you master of the whole experience. From that first wow when the plate hits the table, and does the presentation deliver on the restaurant's personality? Is it rustic chic? Is it ultra modern? So does this sound exciting? Well, stick around because I'm going to break down exactly how you can simply run a design sprint of your own. The understand phase is all about laying the groundwork for your presentation design sprint. Think about it like prep work before the cooking starts. You need to define what problem this sprint is actually going to tackle. Are you aiming to elevate your entire plating style, or is the focus on something specific, like creating more visually cohesive shared plates? Next, it's crucial to understand your ideal diner. Who are you designing these experiences for? This will determine how bold you think you can be with your concepts. Finally, think about your restaurant's overall personality and how your plating needs to reflect it. To get this information, it's time to do some digging. Look closely at past diner feedback. What do they say about the visual aspects of your dishes? Analyze what sells and what doesn't, because it might be a plating issue. And consider the bigger picture. How does a dish fit into the progression of an entire meal? How does it work visually within the space of your restaurant? And don't worry about having all the answers at this stage. It's about gathering the right information to guide the creative brainstorming process throughout the rest of this design sprint. Now it's time to dive into the sketch phase. Now this is where things can get really fun, but it's not just about doodling on napkins, although that can be fun too. It's about a structured approach to generate as many ideas as possible. Here's the key mindset for the sketching phase: quantity over perfection. The goal is to get all of those wild what-if ideas out of your head and onto paper. Think of it as brainstorming meets visual expectation. You might want to sketch literal plate layouts, do little scribbles that represent textures and colours, or even use mood boards to inspire a new direction. You can put together inspiration from social media, cookbooks and magazines. Cut out interesting shapes, textures and colour combinations that jump out at you. Challenge the way you think about negative space, the role of height on the plate. Even try using unusual serving pieces instead of the traditional dishes. The important thing is to encourage collaborative creativity. If you're running this sprint within a team, have everyone contribute their sketches, no matter their drawing skill levels. It's about the concept, not the artwork. There'll be time to refine the best ideas later. For more information about sketching, why not watch this video here on the importance in plating and the presentation process. At this stage, let yourself break free from the usual plating habits. Challenge yourself to use that unusual ingredient. Test out the super minimalistic style, or play with contrasting textures. The wilder your sketches, the more likely you are to stumble on something that is truly groundbreaking. Now, as you've clicked on this video and made it this far through it, I know that you want your dishes to look as amazing as they taste. And that's why I've created a free Plate Like a Pro checklist to give you the tools for stunning visuals. Download it now and take the first steps towards next level presentation. You can also join our private Facebook group for asking for tips, tricks, and a community of chefs ready to help you elevate your plating game. So you can find all the details down below, along with the like and the subscribe button. All right, time to shift gears into the decide phase. This is where those wild ideas from the sketch stage start transforming into a focused, actionable plan. Think of it like going from a giant, delicious buffet of possible ingredients to carefully composing the perfect dish. You've got to be discerning now. What works, what doesn't, and most importantly, what fits the vision you decided on in the understand phase. This is where you and your team need to become constructive critics. Analyze those sketches and mood boards. Which concepts constantly catch your eye and align with your sprint's goals? Are there themes emerging, bolder colours, unexpected shapes, or a minimalist approach? Now this is the time to make big decisions and to narrow that focus. This might mean combining a few killer ideas into one strong plating concept, or abandoning a daring idea that sounds amazing but won't translate well under kitchen pressure. The most important step of the decide phase is creating a storyboard. Now this isn't just a sketch of the final plate, but a visual breakdown of how your chosen dish will come together. Think about the sequence of elements, the flow of the sauce, the interplay between textures. This storyboard becomes your blueprint for the next stage, prototyping. It's okay if you don't have every tiny detail ironed out yet. The decide phase is about solidifying the core vision of your plate design and giving yourself a clear roadmap for the exciting next step of your sprint. The prototype stage is where those tantalizing sketches and storyboard take their first steps into the real world. This isn't about a perfectly plated dish ready for the Instagram close-up. It's about bringing a rough but tangible version of your designs to life and seeing how they translate from concept to the actual plate. Get resourceful. Substitute ingredients to get a sense of shape, colour and visual weight. A swipe of creamy yogurt can stand in for a fancy sauce. A sprinkle of dried herbs can represent a vibrant garnish. It's all about focusing on those core visual components, not wasting time and resources on perfecting perfect flavours just yet. Play with everyday objects. Raid your garnish stash, the spice rack, even the paper goods aisle. You know, it's surprising how a crumpled napkin or a strategically placed chopstick can help you mock up textures and the shapes you envisioned. The goal is to simply experiment quickly and discover how your designs translate into a three-dimensional space. This is also where you can scrutinise the practicalities. Is that gorgeous swirl of edible flowers realistic to arrange on every single plate during service? Does your beautifully balanced plating hold up once real cutlery has to interact with it? Prototyping is like a dress rehearsal for your dish. You want to catch those awkward moments now and make adjustments before committing to the final performance. It's about identifying those delightful surprises as much as it is troubleshooting any issues. Okay, it's time to dive into the final stage of the plate design sprint, the test. This is the thrilling moment where your creations face the ultimate judge, real diners. Think of the test phase as a focus group for your plating designs. Remember, you're not just gathering generic feedback on taste here. You want those specific insights about the visual impact of your dish. Did it meet expectations? Was it surprising? Did it feel cohesive? Now choose your testers wisely. Perhaps a mix of staff, trusted regulars, and maybe even a few adventurous foodies can provide a diverse perspective. But keep the group small at this stage. You want focused feedback, not an overwhelming amount of data. It's really important to prepare targeted questions. Instead of asking things like, well, what did you think? You should ask things like, what was your first impression of the dish? Does the presentation match the kind of food you were expecting? Are there any elements you feel unnecessary or distracting? And it's not just about words. Encourage your testers to take photos. Their natural framing of the plate can reveal what elements catch the eye first. The test phase is where you might discover that bold concept that falls flat in reality, or that small, seemingly insignificant detail is the star of the show. The most important thing about testing is the open mind. You've poured your creativity into these designs, now it's time to step back, listen and refine. This is the final step that ensures your plating isn't just about artistic vision, but directly meets the needs and delights of the people enjoying the food. So we've now gone through the whirlwind of your first design sprint, from the crafting of clear vision to testing those wild ideas with real diners. But before you run off and completely revamp your entire menu, let's cover a few important key considerations. Remember, a design sprint is meant to be a burst of focused innovation, not a complete overhaul of your entire kitchen. For the best results, choose a specific challenge. Maybe you're breathing new life into your appetizer plating, or rethinking how to present your desserts. Limiting the scope keeps the sprint manageable and increases the chances of those exciting breakthroughs. A successful design sprint is all about collaboration. And the right team is crucial. Bring in those seasoned kitchen veterans who have a deep understanding of technique and execution. But don't overlook the fresh perspective of those newer team members either. Sometimes the best plating ideas are going to come from someone less bound to tradition and more open to experimentation. Maybe even include a front of house member to provide that guest-focused perspective. Even those ideas that were left on the cutting board during your sprint could hold a nugget of inspiration for the future. Make sure you take notes and even quick photos of the concepts you've explored, because you never know, a few months down the line, you might revisit these notes and find a seemingly abandoned idea that is a perfect fit for another dish or a seasonal menu shake-up. Think of it like a chef keeping a notebook with potential flavour combinations. Your design documentation could be just as valuable. So you've conquered your first plate design sprint. Whether you ended up with a dazzling new signature dish or a complete rethink of your appetizer plating, you've done something pretty amazing. You've broken free from the routine, tapped into a spring of creativity, and more importantly, focused on designing experience for your diners, not just the dishes. Here's what I hope you take away from this. Food is art, but art is iterative. Even the most talented chefs refine, rework, and sometimes scrap ideas. A design sprint gives you a framework for embracing the process, celebrating those failures as much as the successes. Your kitchen is a lab. There's room to play, experiment, and embrace the unexpected in a time-bound way that keeps your kitchen focused and productive. Feedback is your superpower. Design sprints give you a way to directly gather feedback on the visual and experimental aspects of your dishes. This kind of insight is invaluable for creating food that truly wows your guests. Presentation isn't an afterthought. Carve out time for plate design early in your menu development. A dedicated sprint ensures visual appeal is just as important as flavour from the start. This investment will pay back in customer satisfaction and reputation for beautifully presented food. If you're ready to inject some excitement into your kitchen to make every plate a thoughtful masterpiece, then design sprints are a tool you need to master. Don't be afraid to customize them, make them your own, and above all, have fun with the process. But what if I told you there is another powerful weapon in your plating arsenal? The art of reverse engineering. Think of it like this. You've seen that mouth-watering dish on Instagram or tasted something incredible at a fellow chef's restaurant. It sparked something in you. Instead of trying to copy it, reverse engineering is about breaking down why it works so well. It's a chance to dissect plating techniques, colour combinations, unexpected flourishes, and then adapt them with your own unique spin. It's learning from amazing chefs, then remixing those elements to create something entirely new. In the next video, I'm going to be diving into reverse engineering step by step. We'll talk about how to look at a dish with an analytical eye and how to build a toolkit of those techniques you admire. So thanks again for watching, and get ready to become a plating detective.